Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited. We're talking about my 2024 anticipated new releases. There is truly nothing better than when an author you love releases a new book or a new book you've been waiting for comes out. Best feeling in the world. I feel like we should start with the most obvious one, which is Emily Henry's new release, Funny Story. At the end of the day, I'm just a girl, so obviously I am beside myself with excitement for this to come out, and I just saw everybody got their ARC copies of this. Literally makes me sick with jealousy. But this one's about a girl whose fiance dumps her when he realizes that he's in love with a childhood best friend. And because they're both recently dumped, she ends up moving in with the childhood best friend's ex, and they were roommates. And they end up fake dating, trying to get the other people jealous. It's set in a lakeside town in Michigan, which I love. And it reminds me of Book Lovers, how she takes a trope like big city girl gets dumped or childhood best friend and flips it. And she's just so genius. I can't wait for this. Next is the new Carly Fortune book, The Summer Will Be Different. Although I really didn't like Meet Me at the Lake, I loved Every Summer After, so I'm still really excited for this, and I'm hoping I like it like Every Summer After and I don't hate it like Meet Me at the Lake. This is best friend's brother. I believe they're locals and she is a tourist, and she comes and becomes best friend with the girl but also hooks up with the brother, not realizing that's who it is. And then it becomes a yearly thing. Every summer she visits this island and says she isn't going to do anything with him and always does. And now she's there. I think she's like, yeah, the friend is heartbroken, so she comes to help her with the breakup and ends up, of course, with the brother again. I'm a little nervous for this one just because I don't always love like friends with benefits, or like when people are attracted to each other first, like they hook up first before they have like an emotional connection. But I feel like if it's done right, I could like it. Also, she has the prettiest covers. Hannah Grace is also coming out with the third book in the Maple Hill series. I really liked the first two, Icebreaker and Wildfire. This one's called Daydream, and this series follows hockey players on a hockey team in college, and this book is between one of the hockey players and his tutor, and it says he crashes her book club and she's like a big reader. Like, look at the cover, please. She's wearing the folklore cardigan. If there is anything that would make me want to read a book, it's the main character wearing the folklore cardigan on the cover. And I just love a good college romance. I think they're really fun. Maybe it's because I didn't go away to college, so I like to live vicariously through them, but either way I think this looks really cute. Ashley Poston is also coming out with a new book. She wrote The 7-Year Slip, which I just read this year and loved it. I was obsessed, and all of her books have like a magical realism element, which honestly I don't always love, but I didn't mind it in The 7-Year Slip. And this one's about a literature professor who winds up in a book. Elsie winds up lost in Hudson Valley alone in a thunderstorm. She takes shelter in a bookstore and she immediately gets on the bad side of its grumpy and infuriatingly sexy owner and finds herself in a quaint town that feels right out of a book. Because it is. It's perfect. A place built on meet cutes and storybook endings. This is for the girls that always imagine themselves as the main character in a book when they read. It also is kind of giving Hallmark movie, which I love. Another book that sounds so good and just like perfect for me is Casey McQuiston's new book, The Pairing. It doesn't have a cover yet, which is kind of sad, but it's two bisexual exes accidentally booked the same European food and wine tour and challenge each other to an international hookup competition to prove they're over each other. Let's talk about it. I'm obsessed. It sounds so good. I love travel books. They're both bi. Love both females, I believe. I think. Don't quote me on that. I think they're both girls. International hookup competition. You know the jealousy trope is gonna go crazy. Forced proximity. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with this already. I cannot wait to read it. I need this bad. I need this in my Kindle right now. Allie Hazelwood is also coming out with another STEM romance. As much as I really love Check and Mate because I did, I am excited that she's still doing the STEM romances because I do really like them. This one follows a biotech engineer that works in food science, which sounds so interesting, and one of the businessmen from the company that's trying to buy her job and take it over. Love a good workplace enemies to lovers, and I believe they become like friends with benefits. They start hooking up. A secret affair, no strings attached, and has a built-in deadline, the day one of their companies will prevail. At this point, I just love her. She's an auto buy for me. So basically whatever this was, I was gonna read it, but it sounds really good. The sequel to Done and Dusted is also coming out, Swift and Saddled. This is a cowboy romance series. The first one came out this year and I really liked it. Classic city girl, businesswoman, has to go work in a small town on a farm, meets a cowboy. It's textbook, but then plot twist, the cowboy she meets at the bar is her new boss. This is also the brother of the guy from the first book, if you have read Done and Dusted. The series reminds me a lot of the Chestnut Spring series, so if you're into that, I think you would like this too. Look at this cover and tell me it's not supposed to be Taylor Swift. The breakup tour is by Emily Wimberly and Austin Sigmund Broca, who wrote The Roughest Draft, which I read a few years ago and really liked. And this one follows this really famous pop star who asks her college ex to come play on tour with her. I love a second chance romance. I love One of Us is Famous. And I think this just sounds really fun. I am a little nervous. Like, I don't want to be accidentally reading Taylor Swift fan fiction, but if they do it right, I think they can pull it off. The next book is The Catch by Amy Lee, which is actually the third book in a series. I have not read the other two. It's giving very much It Happened One Summer. A grumpy lobster fisherman tosses a fashion influencer's impeccably curated life overboard in this romantic comedy. He ends up in this fishing village in Canada. This somehow leads to them fake dating, of course. And I love books with settings like this, like coastal towns. Once I saw there was a lighthouse on the cover, I was sold. I was like, this is my vibe. Let's go. The description makes it sound like While You Were Sleeping, which is a movie I love. And I think this looks really cute. My biggest concern is I don't always love books about influencers because sometimes I think it's cringe, but I have hope. Another author I love coming out with a new book is Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. You can tell I love a summer romance because clearly I do. Justin has a curse, and thanks to a Reddit thread, it's now all over the internet. Every woman he dates goes on to find their soulmate the second they break up. When a woman slides into his DMs with the same problem, they come up with a plan. They'll date each other and break up. Their curses will cancel each other out, and they'll both go on to find the love of their lives. I think that sounds like a really fun premise. It's kind of silly, but it's a romance novel, who cares? And the cover is beautiful, and she's just another one. I love her, so no matter what it is, I'm gonna want to read it. It also says they rent an adorable cottage on a private island on Lake Minnetonka. I don't know if I said that right, but again, I just love like lake house books, travel books, like we're stuck in a house together, we're on vacation, we're in this beach town. I eat all that stuff up. Speaking of, the next book in the Lakefront Billionaires series by Lauren Asher is coming out. It's called Love Unwritten. There isn't much about this book out. The cover isn't out or the description, but from what is hinted at in the first book, I think I'm gonna really like it. The first one follows this billionaire. He owns the construction company, and it's between him and an interior designer. Then this one is his like grumpy cousin slash business partner who is a single dad, and it sounds like it's going to be between him and his nanny, which I love. I love a single dad trope. I love a nanny trope. I love a rich man, and I think it's going to be really good. Also, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure they're traveling, like they're going somewhere. I don't exactly remember where, but again, I love travel books, so I think this sounds really fun. He also was going through it in the first one. He's like very heartbroken and kind of depressed and lost, so it'll be nice to see him get out of that in this one. Lynn Painter is also coming out with a sequel for Better Than the Movies called Nothing Like the Movies. Better Than the Movies, if you haven't read it, is a YA romance where it's her neighbor, they like don't get along, but then he's helping her make another guy jealous type vibe. And I'm really interested to see what she does with this one. They're supposed to be in college now on summer break, and it says dual POV, dual pining, college summer break. Wes Bennett is the mastermind. Sometimes life goes off the rails and is nothing like the movies. I feel like it's very rare that a romance author will write a sequel to a book. I'm interested to see like if they're going to be broken up in the beginning, if they're still going to be together, what the situation's going to be. But I thought Better Than the Movies was really cute, so I think this will also be really cute. A little break from the romance, I have two thrillers on my list. The first one is the new Riley Sager book called Middle of the Night. A man must contend with the long ago disappearance of his childhood best friend and the dark secrets lurking just beyond the safe confines of his picture-perfect neighborhood. Basically, when they were 10 years old, his best friend gets kidnapped in the middle of the night when they were camping in their backyard, and now he's back at his childhood home 30 years later, and weird things start happening in the middle of the night. I'm gonna be honest, this does sound interesting, but a lot of the reason I wanted to read it is because it's set in New Jersey, and I'm from New Jersey. Although this does seem like one of those thrillers that is extra scary because it could actually happen, so I might wuss out. We'll see. The other one is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I read the guest list by her a few years ago and really liked it. It was very atmospheric and whodunit, like isolated, which I really enjoyed. And this one is another murder mystery. Welcome to the opening weekend of the Manor, a luxury resort built on top of old secrets in an ancient wood. The founder, the lover, the mystery guest, the kitchen help, the detective all have an agenda, all have a past, but not everyone will survive the midnight feast. It's giving Clue, it's giving Knives Out. I'm sold. And then the last three are again romances. Big shock. Also all from authors I've read previously. Christina Lauren is writing a Tangled reimagined. I'm sorry, it's like they wrote it specifically for me. This is actually the fourth book in a series that I didn't realize was a series because they're all written by different authors. And I read the first one, which is a Cinderella retelling, and then it looks like there's also a Beauty and the Beast and a Little Mermaid one, so I'll have to go back and read those ones too. But I'm specifically very excited for the Tangled one. Her Tangled Rapunzel backstory comes into play because she grew up on a homestead, so she was like homeschooled, doesn't have an iPhone, has lived totally off the grid her whole life, but she ends up going to college, which is where she meets the love love interest, and they end up going on a road trip for a school project. Love the whole concept of Disney princess reimaginings, and I'll take any excuse to rewatch Tangled. Another one that just feels like the author wrote it specifically for me is Ashley Herring Blake is writing a Christmas rom-com. There's no cover or anything, and there's only one line in the description, and it's a holiday rom-com about two women who make a Christmas sex pact. Yeah, I'm there. I'm definitely there. I love Ashley Herring Blake and I love Christmas. Again, I am a little worried because I don't always love like a friends with benefits hookup-y type story, but I have faith and I'm so excited to see this cover. But I really like her, so I know I'm gonna like this. Last but not least, Alison Cochran is coming out with a new book. She wrote The Charm Offensive, which I love, and she also wrote Kiss Her Once for Me, which is a Christmas rom-com, which I liked. Like, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't obsessed. All her books have very different vibes. This one, Here We Go Again, is a road trip book following one's childhood best friends forced together to drive their former teacher across the country. They're basically childhood best friends that have a falling out their senior year and then don't speak for like 10 years, but they both end up working as teachers at the same school. But their old English teacher, who also works with them, only has a few months to live, so that's why they end up taking them on this road trip. Again, sapphic, travel, forced proximity, enemies to lovers. I'm there. I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna buy it. I don't need anything else. And this one also has a great cover. Overall, I'm so excited for 2024. I think it's gonna be a really good reading year. I have so many good books on my TBR. These and just ones that are already out that I'm really excited to get to. And I can't wait to talk about them with you guys in the new year. If you wanna follow me anywhere else, I'll have all my socials down below. And thank you so much for watching.